Greetings, gamers. Tim here again. And today is August 10th, 2017. And our kicker for today is, where do you go for RPG reviews? Well, in general, I don't seek out reviews. I do look up reviews of my own products. And if I am somewhere that somebody reviews something, I may take a look at that review. But I don't go and look for them specifically. But places I have found myself are RPGNet, the RPG site, although, you have to take both of those with a grain of salt because there's a lot of opinion in reviewing. I have read reviews on Ian World. I have read reviews on personal blogs of numerous people that I follow. In fact, there is one I follow that he breaks down character creation. He goes through the process of making a character and so on a blog. And that's one of the ones I follow. But I listen to the opinions of people I trust on forums. I read other opinions, especially ones that disagree with whatever that person's opinion was. Because having both, say, a positive point and a negative point gives me some idea of where I will fall on the spectrum of liking a game. And this is not always the best way to do it. It's just the way that I do it. For many reasons, I often go for games who I just like the name of. And pick that game up and think, no, this really isn't exactly what I wanted. An example would be Stars Without Number, which is very popular. And it is a game that I really like. I really do. I like most of the stuff from the creator and, his various projects that he does. But I've heard other games that are old school sci-fi games, such as White Star. And I recently picked up a copy of that because I heard good things about it and bad things about it. And I wanted to take a look for myself. And while it's a nice little game, I don't have any strong opinions about it. But that's the thing. I don't have any strong opinions about it. It's literally old school D&D done for fantasy. And while that is kind of what I was looking for, Stars Without Number does the old school with modern aesthetics of science fiction. That is, its science fiction isn't stuck in the 70s when Star Wars was created, or the 60s when Star Trek was created. White Star tends to lend towards trying to do Star Wars a little bit more than anything else. It's not a bad game. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying that I looked at both good and bad reviews. I felt that I fell somewhere in the middle, and that's exactly where I fall, somewhere in the middle. It might be fun to play for one-shots or an occasional fill-in campaign, but it's not going to be my first choice if I'm going to use old-school rules for science fiction. I'm going to most likely use actual old-school rules. That is, ones that were actually created in that time period, such as Star Frontier, because those mechanics work for me. They still work for me. And I love the setting to death. On the other hand, Stars Without Number, I've seen really great reviews on it and very few bad. And I picked it up, and I'm truly amazed at what Stars Without Number is. They've done but it was first released free, They then did a paid on-demand version. Then they had it published by a company, and now they're going to be doing a Kickstarter for a new edition, from what I've heard. I don't know for sure. I haven't verified that fact. So, again, like I normally say, take something with a grain of salt when I'm talking about it. Because anything I say is with my most recent information or understanding. And that may have changed since this video was created. But Stars Without Number is very good. So, and that was people's opinion. That wasn't hardcore reviews. That wasn't a formal kind of framework. Well, I do read formal framework reviews. I tend to read them from people I trust. Dan Davenport, for example, doesn't do as many reviews as he used to because he stays very busy, because he's become a very popular, review target. It's like people know he will review something, and he generally gives good reviews, so they go to him and say, hey, would you review my game? And he agrees. But it takes a while for him to write them because he tries to run them, he tries to play them first, and then give his opinion. It doesn't always happen, but that's often how I find out about game qualities. Is just randomly, picking and choosing where I get information. And sometimes it's good information and sometimes it's bad information. And a lot of what sells me on a game is the background information they provide and the system. So if a review will show me like a synopsis of the setting and a quick summary of how the rules work, that is more likely to interest me than a multi-page opinion piece on why they liked it or why they didn't like it. I'm more interested in having it explained to me. Even if they're saying, okay, here are the mechanics, here's how they work, and I like A, B, C, but not D. That to me is a better review because you have given me information not only about how it works, but also giving me information of your opinion and the quality you feel something has. Sorry about the light coming in. I'm doing this during the day, and as usual, that means bright lights outside in Texas. Um, anyway, but to give you an idea, I don't have specific places. Sometimes I just wander the net looking for something to read and stumble upon a review and read it. I have read reviews of my own games that I really wish I could comment on because I'm like, you kind of got this real wrong. You didn't quite read it the way it is intended, and maybe that is the way I explained it. Maybe I did wrong there, but and there are often places where I don't have access to comment. And then there are places where, I've gotten a pretty solid review and I'm allowed to comment, and I usually say thank you. Thank you for giving a review. Or there have been a few times I've gotten a bad review here or there and said thank you. I'm sorry it wasn't for you, and move on. So reviews are not as big a thing for me as how interested I am through what they're showing. And that's kind of like, that causes problems sometimes because I really would like to know about the game called OWN, OWN, or now NOW. I want to know about the science fiction version of those because they were all published at the same time and they were all set for different time periods, but they use the same set of rules. And it's just a quirky name. And I haven't read reviews. I don't have any idea how the mechanics work. Some people have talked a little bit about them, but not enough. And so I asked online on one of my forums about two games and got absolutely no responses if anybody had played or knew anything about the mechanics. And that's kind of disheartening because that means that they popped up and people don't feel like commenting on them enough to give me that information. Whether they like A game or whether they like B game. And that, as a game designer myself, that's kind of hurtful because I would like to see my game compared. If somebody asks, will this game work for me? How does this work? I'm more than happy to see that because at least you're asking questions and answers can be had. And might not always be right, but somebody there is interested in providing information. And that says that somebody has paid attention to the game coming out as opposed to it being passed on. Now, maybe I just picked two games nobody has felt like talking about today, and not much I can do about that. Anyway, this is going to be a short one because really that's all I can say about reviews is, find a place you like, find a style you like, pay attention to that. Anyway, peace, good gaming. See you tomorrow.